At Goldstein & Goldstein, we get your money. We get your money. Just give a call. 1-800-JEWS-FOR-HIRE. Don't have a lawsuit? No problem. We've got plenty. Car wreck? Does your neck hurt? Doesn't matter. You'll get your money. Our family-owned practice has been getting people money for generations. We invented the hot coffee. The slip and fall, patent pending. We aren't saying we launder money, but we will take your cash to the cleaners. One time, my nice old lady called us and said her neighbor's dog kept shitting on her lawn. Now the neighbor eats through a straw. We fixed the problem. At Gorbachev and McGillicuddy, we'll kill your neighbor's dog and make it look like an electrical thing. Ever heard of a little place in France called Notre Dame? It wasn't even insured, but the Pope knew just who to call. Finkelskrank and Goose Tank. Now he's got the money. Come on down, call us 1-800-JEWS-FOR-HIRE. Get your money. Hello and thank you for cranking another roadie.
Yeah, welcome to the Road Soda Podcast, episode 2436. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. On this episode, we join Astronomy Club, talk about genocide and school buses, all while we metal out, brother.
That's right.
My name's Isaiah Cooper. With me is
Justin Mitchell.
Fuck yes, Justin. Thank you for joining us. We had it's been a few weeks, maybe 3. But either way, you're never forgotten, always gone.
Yep.
And that's how you say that, right?
Yep, that's work. Hey, also, I just want to shout out to Grant, right?
Yes.
He wrote in and corrected me on Israel Kott.
Oh, yeah.
It's Emmanuel Kant. And I had a couple beers that night. So I don't know where I got Israel Kott. And after he mentioned that, I was like, I wonder where I got that from. And I Googled it, and it literally, everything that came up was that drug Kott. And its usage in Israel and like Somalia and stuff. And I was like, oh man.
Oh, that's really
I wonder where that came from. But yeah, it is. It's Emmanuel Kant. He's like I think he's the father of like deontological ethics and stuff. But
that's
Go Grant. Go
Grant, dude. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, because I couldn't recall what he was. I was like, what? Because I can't remember everything, man.
Of course not.
Speaking of, he called in because I had the segment a couple weeks ago or a news article where a guy registered a beehive as a service animal.
Oh, yeah. I was going to write in about that.
Yeah, he called in about that, too. What a guy. Also, so, yeah, Grant, so he called in last week. He's, definitely the most common caller. Mm-hmm. However, we do have a few messages here. It looks like somebody called multiple times, and I don't listen to these before. So, this is the segment on the show. If you guys ever want to call in, or not the segment, but if you ever want to call in and correct us on something we said in the previous episode or whatever, please do. We love to hear about it. We play it right on the show. The number is 706-200-1213, and we encourage everybody to call. Let it ring through, and leave a message, and we'll play it right here on the air. So I think it's got to go in this order because it goes from top. So let's get this in here.
Hello, Sherry, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, Sherry. I took the dog to the vet. Oh, he's bleeding real bad in the car, Sherry. Come on. I just left like 10 minutes ago. I told you I'm going to the vet with the dog. Please answer the phone, Sherry. The dog is bleeding in the car.
I'm going to be honest. All I got from that was that there's someone named Jerry who needs to answer their phone and something about a car.
I think, there was a pet in a car.
Okay.
I think we have, they're on the way to the vet, I think, and there's a dog. There's something in the car. I think,
I'm captivated by this narrative.
And that was, do you think they called again?
Was it? You said there were multiple numbers.
There was 4 calls all on the same number, all stacked up, right? So it's gotta. Let's listen to the next one. There's got to be something here. It was very hard to hear, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very hard to hear.
Very hard to hear. So let's try to play this one and see if we can maybe hear it a little better. Hopefully we can.
Rocco's not doing too bad, Sherry. I just said too bad, but Rocco's not doing too good. He's pretty bloody,
Oh my God.
I don't know what he was doing underneath that shelf in there. in the kitchen, but I wish you'd answer the phone because Rocco's. You might want to talk to Rocco. You might want to say some words to Rocco. Jerry, answer the phone.
I think it's Sherry.
Oh, Sherry.
Sherry.
All right,
But
so a
you're
dog
right,
is
it does
dying.
sound like Jerry.
A dog is dying.
Their dog is dying.
Yeah, a lot of blood.
A lot of blood.
All right, well.
It sounded like the dog's name was Rocco.
Yeah, I heard something like
I heard
that.
Rocco, and the dog's, and he's just trying to get in touch with Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
She won't answer the phone. What the fuck? I guess we have a similar number to
1214.
It must be 1214.
Yeah.
You're dialing the wrong number there. Let's see here.
Look, Sherry, I don't know why you're not answering the phone. Maybe it's because Rocco was getting into your dad's ashes that are on the bottom shelf of the bookshelf that I told you for the 13th time to put up on the top of the shelf because Rocco keeps getting into them. You need to answer the phone. You got simple words to Rocco. I swear. We're stuck in traffic on the way to the vet. We're not going to make it to the vet.
I don't know if you should be laughing at this, Justin.
Well, here's the deal. I'm not
dog-
laughing about the dog. I'm laughing about this guy's life. He's got a rough life.
It's got a rough life.
And that's
It sounded
funny.
like he was saying there was ashes. The dog got into ashes.
Her father's ashes.
Father's ashes that were on the bottom shelf of the bookshelf.
Yeah.
She should have moved them to the top. I guess the bookshelf fell on the dog. This is the last one. Let's just see what happens here. We don't know this guy. Let's see what happened here.
Rocco's dead. But swing by the office max and drop him off in the dumpster behind the office max over there. You want to think about getting McDonald's for dinner? You want anything, Sherry? All right, give me a call.
All right.
Guess that's,
He moves on quick.
moves on quick. And Rocco, I guess we'll look at another Rocco. That's Rocco's Modern Life for you. Well, guys, I don't know who that was, but if you got something to say about the show,
Yeah, please.
If you want to talk about, hey, Road Soda, I like you guys' segment that you did last week.
Right.
You can call in 706-200-1213.
Mm-hmm.
And hope maybe if this guy ever calls back, we'll call him back and tell him, stop calling the show.
Yeah.
We're not Sherry.
Right.
We're not Sherry. You should save the number and quit just hitting
What is he doing?
Say the fucking number.
Yeah.
And, let's move into the rest of the show. Last week, what we started doing was having the main segment play throughout the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
And then interjected is the news and the other segments. So we're going to do that again. And because I think that's a better way to run the show. But first, we got to have another word from our sponsors.
This episode of Road Soda is brought to you by Getaways.
Everyone knows Waze, the crazy smart GPS app that guides millions to work around traffic and speed traps. Well, now from the same people, Getaways. Ex-wife, current wife, bank robbery, insurance fraud, dead hooker? Whatever your reason is, we can help you get away. Give us an idea of the amount of trouble you're in and where you're trying to get to, and our specialists will help craft an all-inclusive getaway to avoid child support, get to the woods, or even get to Mexico, including everything you need from a gun to a new identity to safe houses along the way. Getaways Premium will even help you get lined up with dirty cops and crooked judges to make sure you stay on the right side of those prison bars. If you need to disappear fast, we've got you covered. Don't get arrested, Getaways.
Mr. Justin Mitchell, how you doing, man?
Doing really good.
So this is how because now we know that this is going to be the main meat of the show that everyone can listen to.
That's right.
And it's the narrative that carries the show, and then we'll break for, the news and whatnot, as well as the book club segments in the middle of this.
That's right. The Millennial Book Club this week is really good.
I liked it. Yeah,
so
it was
good.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so you recently went to Boston. So you were off the show for a couple of. This is the longest stretch in a while where you haven't been the guest co-star.
So I went to Boston early in November to go see this band called Tool, and then I came back. I was sick, and I had family in town, and so and then you've been extremely busy too. You know, you moved into a cool new apartment and everything, and so
Yes, sir. We've been rocking and rolling.
But yeah, now we're back. So
Tell us, dude, Tool, first of all. Tool is no band to be fucked with.
Oh, yeah. So actually, I was going to tell you a story about that metal show that I tried to take you to last week.
Yeah, that was like last week.
Yeah. But Tool was great. The live show was really good, and it's my wife's favorite band. I really like them too. And she had never seen them live, so we got tickets that were like, it was in a basketball stadium, and we were like directly under like center court.
Oh, buddy.
So we were like perfect seats, and like right in the middle of center court. So in the middle of the row, and so sound was good, and yeah, that band is just great, and it was really fun. But I actually went to go see this band called Nile.
Oh,
And-
Nile. Now, what kind of... You said they're metal, but is there like... What's the subgenre
So
of
they're what I would call them death metal. And maybe technical death metal. So death metal came around in the late 80s.
Right.
And like if you think about thrash metal would be like Metallica.
Okay.
And death metal really came around, and it has like... It's not that like almost Metallica style like shout singing, you know,
Right,
and then they have like the melodic parts. Death metal is pretty much just like the guttural growls and
Yeah,
like
buddy.
you know, and after a few years it would be characterized by what's known as the blast beat, which is where you basically, we'll say you hit like 16th notes on a double kick, and at the same time you're also hitting the snare and maybe your ride cymbal or your hi-hat, so it's just like a wall of like sound, you know.
You call it blast beat?
Blast beat.
Damn.
And so anyways, technical death metal to me would be, it's death metal with maybe they use polyrhythms, maybe they use interesting time signatures.
This is making sense to somebody out there.
Yeah, usually like the riffs or the guitar solos might be...
You got a
little-
vamp, man. I thought we were plugged in.
That's
We're not.
okay. They might be a little more interesting and a little more technical. But anyways, so it was so cool about going and seeing this band Nile. They had a new album out. They came to Tampa for the last leg of their tour, and they played in this really small venue called the Orpheum. And what's really cool about it is that 4 bands played, and every one of those bands, while another band was playing, were out there. Like I was standing next to the guitar player for Nile for the whole second opener, you know.
Right.
And it's just really cool that they're a part of the community as well, you know. And you know, nothing really matters, you know. I for the most part, from my experience, nobody really judges anybody at a metal show. Like you could be any race or fat or, you know, gay or whatever you are, you know.
As long as you're metal.
As long as you're brutal.
Fuck brutal.
And so here's what's so great. It was Friday the 13th. Awesome, right? That's a brutal day. And it was December 13th. And December 13th...
That's a brutal day.
Yeah. And December 13th is the day, I think in 2003, this guy named Chuck, I can't remember his last name. It starts with an SCH. He founded the band Death, I think in 88.
I think it's Schlitz.
And yeah, that's probably it.
Chuck Schlitz.
And he is known as the founder of death metal. And like people argue what album came out first or who did it first. And he, from what I understand, he didn't even really like the title of being like the father of death metal. He's like,
That's how you know he was the death metal
he's
father.
like, we were just a group of guys just trying to do it. And it was in Tampa, which if you don't know is the birthplace and mecca of death metal. It is
Really?
It is the death metal capital of the world. It's where so many bands came out of.
Tampa? What the fuck?
So it was on the day the founder died in Tampa, and it was Friday the 13th. So it was just like the 15-year-old metalhead in me was just like, I'm 30 now. I was still just like, this is brutal. Like, this is so awesome.
Dude, I never fucking knew that.
Yeah. And so...
Justin bringing you your music hits,
so,
folks.
So the energy that night was so good, man. And what I like about a lot of guys in metal is they're kind of in on the joke, so to speak, where that, like, you know, we wear all black and we like scream and, you know, all this stuff. And the opening band was like kind of in on the joke the best. They were a local Tampa band, and to be honest, like the songwriting and arranging like wasn't that great. Like they weren't super good musicians, but they were a tight band, meaning they played well together, and they had great showmanship. So the greatest part was the guy goes to start a song and he won't break character. Most people speak normally into the mic, but this guy, he refused to break character.
Yeah.
Now you guys know, sometimes we like to get political. Sometimes our lyrics, we feel like we got something to say. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. This song's just about Satan. And it just, the drummer was in on the, you could tell they rehearsed it because the drummer hit a blast beat immediately. Like, I'm not going to lie. This song's just about Satan. And it was just so good, dude. And so I asked you to come because I thought you might have had a good time, and it was a good show. The band is called Nile, and the album, of course, the title is super metal. It's Vile Necrotic Rites. It's like, oh my god,
rotting flesh
yeah,
wort.
exactly. Yeah, baptized in blood. You know, like all this stuff. But yeah, the metal show was great, and I love death metal. And
I love death metal.
you know, it's funny. Every time I go to a death metal show, I have to talk myself out of buying a drum kit. This year, Mandy was like, even knew it was going to happen. She's like, just buy one. She's like, just do it.
Just fucking because I'm sick of having this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's like, she knows. The thing for me is I would buy an electronic drum kit, and to be like for me, guitar is a way to express myself, but drumming, I just want to do metal drums. You know? That's all I just want to be able to
fucking do it.
Yeah, and so that would be like 5 years of an hour a day, and I have to think like, do I actually have time? You know, and then feel guilty and stressed because I got a drum kit
and I'm not using it.
Yeah, fuck that,
dude. I'm so glad that you asked me to go. Like I really. I've told you the other day what 3 concerts I've been to.
Yeah.
It was Jurassic 5, Flogging Molly, and Madonna. And Madonna is funny because you'll hear in the news later why Madonna's funny.
That's right. You would have been mistaken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just somebody gave me a ticket, I swear.
I'm here with my sister.
I hope that's funny later for everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, so when you asked me, because I metal just from being such close friends with you and Brian, and like living with Brian for so long, just like it just worked on me. Like I heard Amon Amarth for the first time, which isn't even like one of the greatest bands. Like I
call that gateway metal.
It is gateway metal.
Yeah, it's like pretty vanilla but still brutal.
It's still fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like they are, I know musically they're not like, they're really simplistic. Like they're very simplistic, and I know that just as somebody who knows almost nothing about. It's like super simple riffs. The drum is like, I mean, obviously I can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
But everything they're doing is not like technically crazy. It's tight. They work. It's good. But dude, it's still so catchy. It's so like, fuck yes, dude. Fuck yes. You fuck yeah.
Let me tell you this real quick here about Amon Amarth.
Right.
So they had a new album come out this year, and I listened to it. It's really good. And they have a song called Valkyria.
Yes.
And it's basically this anthem, because if you don't know, Amon Amarth is death metal. They don't do blast beats. They're not like on that far in, but they're like entry-level death metal. And they sing about being Vikings.
Yes.
And the song Valkyria is basically about this warrior who feels like it's his time. He's going to die.
I keep my promise.
Yeah, I want to keep my promise. I want to see my homeland again. Don't let me die here, Valkyria. You know, the Valkyries are like Odin's.
Watchers of the battlefield.
Yeah, I don't know a lot, but I know that they're in cahoots with Odin, and they'll like bring the spirits to.
Yeah,
Valhalla.
they're watching the warriors, and if you die valiantly in death, there's only a couple ways that you can die where you actually get to go, and you have to die like trying to kill somebody, like trying to be a fucking badass.
Yeah, that's right.
You get to go. You get to go.
Yeah.
It's a show in heaven.
Yep. Ted, sorry, dude. You died like a total bitch.
Total bitch. Yeah. You don't know. I saw you whimpering beneath the wagon wheel for 15 minutes.
You got to understand with Isaiah's movements, it honestly seems like Hulk Hogan is a Valkyrie.
What's up, brother? You get to go.
Brother, you get to go, yeah. So anyways, when this song came on, my very first, because drums are the reason I'm into metal. As soon as this song came on, and listen to it, please, people listening, you got to check this out. I was like, their drummer got better.
Wow, yeah.
Like, wow, man, this is really good. So I looked it up. I don't know why, but it made me trigger.
Different guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to go, man.
So, but here's what's so good. Here's what's so great, okay? Here's the story.
Oh, there's a story with it too.
Yeah.
Also, can I just right before you go? I listen to this album every day.
Do you really?
It's the album that I listen to. It's my gym anthem.
It's my gym anthem right now. Yeah, that, and then there's a band called Infant Annihilator that just came out with. They just came out with a new album, and what's funny is that I have Amazon Music is what I use. It's still on there. Apple and Spotify removed Infant Annihilator because I think they got it back on, but they deemed it too offensive. And I was like, dude, that's freedom of speech infringement.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
They try to be really brutal in their song titles and stuff. Is there anything I can't say on the podcast? Or okay, so they have like a song called "Cunt Crusher." They have a song called "Motherless Miscarriage," and they're just trying to be brutal.
Infant Annihilator. What the fuck do you want us to write about?
Yeah, it's kind of like, but it's a joke, you know. Like they don't feel, you know.
No, all those people like are not like, unless it's those crazy Norwegian guys. We're gonna go burn a church,
sure,
and then we're gonna come back.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like everyone is not.
But Infant Annihilator, like I think that they're they were really young when they started. They've been around for that. I've known about them, for only about 2 years, but I think they've been around for about 4 and maybe a little longer. Anyways, from what I remember, when they first started, they were like 18 and 19. They were just kids trying to be like, kids,
just trying to, and then you got to stick with it. Well, this is what got us here. Right. We got to keep running with it.
All right. Well, so here's the deal.
So I just want to let you know about Berserk. Yeah, go ahead.
So they play live, okay, yes. And the drummer would try to do this drum trick. And they don't really explain it, but I imagine it's like a.
So where did you actually saw this somewhere? Or
yeah, because so you Google it and the. I'll get there.
Okay, please, yes.
So when the band explains the story, okay,
right,
the lead singer is basically like, look, he used to do this drum trick, and he would throw the stick. He didn't really explain it, but you imagine he was throwing the stick, trying to do something fancy, and he said it failed every time live. He lost his stick every time. Now he was able to get another stick and keep playing or whatever.
Hogarth, you're not doing the
yeah, dude.
I'm going to do the trick.
Okay.
You never get it. I get it every time in practice.
Okay, here's the deal. Just hear me out. It gets so good. And so he goes, eventually it got to the point where the stick would be flying and they're like, look, you're going to hit one of us in the head. And literally the conversation you just faked is what happened. They were
holy shit.
They were like, we'll just call him Hogarth because that's funny. Yeah. Hogarth, you can't do that. What do you mean? The drumstick? Are we really going to rehash this argument? No, man. Dude, it's sick. And they're like, Hogarth. Then the guitarist is like, Hogarth, you never get it. You never catch the stick. You don't catch it. You can't catch the sticks. Don't do the trick. And then they're like arguing. So he literally gives the band an ultimatum, from what I understand. It's like, look.
He does. Yeah. He's like, look, guys, if you don't let me flip that stick on stage, I'm going to quit. Good luck finding another fucking drummer.
And then literally the next year they came out with an album with a better drummer. Now,
hey, we found him.
Yeah, but here's what's funny. That's the band story. Right. So I was like, okay, I got to hear the drummer side of the story because I want to know the truth. And then it's literally like they show a Facebook post. He's like, I guess they couldn't handle
the fucking awesome, mega awesome drumstick.
Yeah, but it was funny because his story was literally like, yeah, they wouldn't let me do the trick.
Let me do the fucking trick. Dude, that is honestly like a fucking Metalocalypse episode.
Yes, I know. And
that's,
you know what's
like
so funny?
In reality.
If you listen to him on Amarth, you know that like Brendan Small's based a lot of the show and the characters off of them, And so it's so funny that they lived a Metalocalypse episode. You nailed it.
It's like, what the fuck is happening? You got to quit writing that show. Like as he's writing the episode, the drummer quits. They had to get a new one. It's like happening in real life.
It's like Death Note, but for metal bands. Like, oh my god, Metalocalypse every episode. Yeah,
it just like happens to a real fucking band.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dude, that's so I had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
That is. This episode of Road Soda is brought to you by Dark Web MD.
Where do you go when they tell you there's no cure? They say the homeopathic options might help, but a brand spanking new child kidney will definitely help. But where do you score a kidney?
Dark Web MD.
Everyone is getting more and more tattoos. How are you going to keep up? A sleeve, your neck, your face? No way. You're ready to take it to the next level. You're getting horns. But you live in the suburbs. How are you going to get horns?
Dark Web MD.
Your 23andMe results came in, and unlike Kim and Chloe, no Armenian DNA. OMG, Brittany. How can we get that changed?
Dark Web MD. A Popco brand. Breaking news.
It shattered it.
We shattered this shit.
Shattered the news.
And we're doing the news segment. We're continuing on with like adding the segments in the middle of the show. So we are actually breaking into the show to bring you the news.
That's right. That's why they call it breaking news.
I think I just figured that out.
I just now got that.
I just now got that. So this is, we're bringing up the Millennial Book Club. That's not it. Dude, why is it opening up? All right. And this is the first story right here. And this story I didn't actually write a name down for. You know how I usually...
Sure.
Dad, 27. Mm-hmm. It's like an age dad. Who thought he was invincible.
Okay.
All right. Died after using monkey dust. What? In car. What?
Okay, what is monkey dust?
It just packed a lot of info in there. So we have a dad, his age, 27. That's who
and he thought he was invisible.
Yeah, but what is monkey dust?
Invincible.
And is he wait? Is he
invisible.
is he invincible because of the monkey dust?
Or was he just, I'm invincible, I can do monkey?
Oh yeah, it's killed everyone else, sir.
You can't do the monkey dust.
You can't do the monkey dust,
It'll turn you into a monkey.
bro. Nothing can stop me.
I'm invincible.
Yeah. All right.
I'm in my fast car. Or just my car. It's a Toyota Prius. I like the picture. And then
Wow,
it
they
shows
used a
picture.
headshot.
They give it, yeah.
He is in a Limp Bizkit cover band.
Yes, yes. I was gonna say
Yep.
he's very Slim Shady, Limp
Yeah,
Bizkit-esque.
he's,
Got the hat, got the light, almost a similar
Yeah.
hair color as you.
Hey, everybody! Thanks for turning out to see Soggy Muffin. Here's our song, "Strolling."
Strolling. When I'm walking down the street, strolling.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
it's great.
A dad of one died a day after his birthday. That's very sad. So he was 26 and fresh 27. Mm-hmm. After suffering a seizure in the back of his girlfriend's car when he took the drug monkey dust.
Okay.
Now I should tell you all, this comes from mirror.co.uk. The Mirror is a United Kingdom outlet, kind of like the Sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to start right now by saying
ahead.
that, like, sure, of course, you don't want, people to experience death and stuff. But technically, the kid's not really going to remember his dad. And if the dad's doing monkey dust, maybe the kid's going to be better off.
Maybe
just,
if the dad's like, monkey dust?
Unless, of course, this is a reflection on his mother's choice of men in general, in which case, like, the monkey dust number 2 dad is coming right up. All right, sorry.
Monkey dust number 2.
Yeah.
Yo, I heard there was a monkey dust opening in here.
That's right.
First of all, I do monkey dust.
Okay.
Second of all, I don't give a shit about your kids
All
or
right.
mine. Right?
Wait, now, we aren't looking for you to pay any bills, so hopefully you don't have a job?
Oh, no. I'm doing monkey dust.
Okay, excellent. Yeah.
I wish I was able to do like an English accent right on cue. We can phone up, what's his name? Gareth.
Gareth?
We can phone up, hey, Gareth, can you do a...
Oh, yeah.
You know Gareth Reynolds?
Yeah, of course,
From that
yeah.
one podcast.
Yeah.
Right on. And inquest... What? An inquest. Oh, dude, they call it an inquest. Wow. So an inquest at North Staffordshire Coroner's Court. So in the court, they don't call it like a trial. They call it like an inquisition. An inquest.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Sure.
I think they still wear wigs over there. And like
No, mate,
courts.
that's some yank shit.
Is that some yank shit?
We don't wear no wigs.
We don't wear no wigs, yeah. Right? Isn't it? We don't wear no wigs, isn't it? I don't know. I heard they
pretty
always
good.
say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Staffordshire Coroner's Court heard how his girlfriend Louise Tivian and what drove him to a house before calling an ambulance. His mother, Joanne Shaw, told the hearing at that she believed what? I'm sorry, man. Maybe they're writing bad or I'm reading bad.
No, this is a rough article.
Yeah. After hearing at that, she believed Jake may have survived if an ambulance had been called sooner. Wow.
Foul play.
Foul play.
Maybe monkey dust is just like ground up chlorine pool tablets.
Right.
And the girlfriend wanted the husband to die and was like, yo, you should try monkey dust. It's super lit. Except they said it like in a British way. Oh, I might. It's wicked.
Oh, I might
Try
Wicked
it.
ass monkey dust.
Yeah.
What?
Have some of this monkey dust. Monkey dust. Yeah.
Oh, God.
and then just waited the perfect amount of time. Be like, I called an ambulance.
That's Ajax. That's just like that. Just like that.
No. This is a weird drug. You actually smoke this and then snort it. You do both. It's yeah.
I've done monkey butt dust. Monkey butt. Monkey butt.
Monkey dust.
All right. This guy. They got another one of his headshots in here. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I've had enough of this monkey dust, and the fact that because we're never going to get this accent. This is the next one. Woman arrested after getting on, refusing to leave school bus full of kids in Manatee County.
Just picture being really high and just being like, I gotta get downtown. Why can't I ride the bus?
Why can't I ride? I want to go to school.
Yeah.
I'm late for class. I'm late for chemistry. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's her accent. And she's very thin eyebrows. I think
Yeah.
that's the most.
Those are
I want to say prominent feature, but it's
yeah.
only prominent because it's so
Those are
Non-prominent.
sculpted,
very sculpted.
but
very
it's
thin.
rainbow sculpted. Do you
like-
notice that it's a rainbow arch?
Yeah, like perfectly
Yeah.
arched eyebrows.
Lucky Charms.
Lucky
All right,
Charms.
I'm done.
I wonder if we can hear me clicking my pen. I hope not. Woman arrested. I just. Yeah, that is the article we're reading. This guy comes to us from ABC7 WWSB. Of course, always my Suncoast with the greatest articles. Bradenton, Florida. Oh, yeah. A homeless woman. All right. No, we're not surprised yet. Is accused of getting on a school bus in Manatee County and refusing to leave. That is what she accused. What are we accusing her of?
Yeah.
She wanted to sit down. I'm trying to drive the bus.
Well, yeah, and it's a hazard. She looks like she's unpredictable.
She didn't look like a kid.
Well, that's true. She definitely looks like she's in her mid-30s.
It happened around 9 a.m., so this is like the morning bus ride. The bus driver had stopped at 5th Street West and Orlando Avenue and was picking up children when she says 27-year-old Samantha Farmer got on the bus. She has her backpack on. I'm ready for school today. Then I'm doing an English act. I'm ready for school today.
That's right. Maybe she did enough mess. She thinks she's British.
Did you say she did enough meth?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Just want to make sure.
We don't have monkey dust across the pond.
We don't know. Maybe that is monkey dust. We should look it up. The driver put her arm across the aisle to stop. They get on my bus.
Yeah.
And told her to leave or she would call 911. The driver says Farmer refused and sat down in the entryway. Nope. I've got every right to be on this bus. Deputies.
Yeah, she super doesn't.
She super does not have any right. Actually, yeah. I was going to say, well, at what point are you not allowed on a school? Yeah, when you're not enrolled at the school.
Yeah, there's a lot of points where you're not allowed.
Do you think teachers are technically allowed to ride the school bus?
Oh my God, could you imagine having the school bus ride where it's like your algebra professor and you're failing and you're just sitting back, not professor, teacher, and you're just sitting back there and you're like, God damn it. He's like, did you do your homework last night? I bet you fucking didn't.
Yeah, he's like,
I can curse because we're on the bus.
We're on the fucking bus. We're not at school yet. Oh, shit, quit. He's like bullying the kids. Oh, shit, Mr. Harris. Come on. No, that's my homework. It's like somebody's not going to have their homework.
Yeah. Everybody, by the way, I just want to say Shelly's mom is a cheater. They're getting a divorce. I heard about it. We all know.
That's right. All right, see you at first class.
Yeah, that's right.
The deputy was full of students. The deputy. I just combined two lines. Deputies arrived and commanded she leave. After several demands, she got off the bus and was taken into custody. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to arrest you. What? I thought I was allowed to get on a bus. I can't get on a school bus.
No, ma'am, you can't.
You're not allowed to get on a school bus. The bus was full of students from Manatee County School of the Arts at the time. Ooh, and they're like sensitive kids.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. I'm going to have to go and write a poem about this. How would you? What would you do if your kid was on the
artistic spectrum?
I guess you'd send him to Manatee School of the Arts.
writing poems every time his feelings got hurt? I don't know.
You've got too many feelings. This next one I just wrote. That's a lot of gays.
Oh, yep. All right.
That's my headline. Again, from my Suncoast. And as of last time, I started putting all of the news article links into the show notes. Why haven't I not been doing that? So everyone else can also read. Everyone else can also read these news articles. They'll be in the show notes. You can check these articles out for yourself. Tampa man arrested after police say he threatened to wipe the whole gay community out.
Which, what's funny about that is that it's impossible. Like, people are still going to have kids, and whatever 30% of them.
No, once I get rid of them all, that's it.
They're not vampires.
No. Once they're all, then you can't have any more.
Yeah.
Once they're all gone.
Right, I hear you. And I normally I don't utilize the police interrogation room for this stuff, but I just really need you to help me. I'm just trying to follow you is all.
All I'm trying to explain is once they're all gone, that's it. Look at this. How would you explain this guy right now? And this is his mugshot.
So I'm going to tell you, this man has the I wore a baseball cap kind of balding ring where he's got like a tuft in the front and then like a bald ring. And
yeah.
He looks like his face looks like a human version of a Shar-Pei. There's a lot of like big folds in his forehead.
Yeah, his forehead, like his eyebrows look like they're sending radio signals up into the sky with all his like... Because his eyebrows go up, he's raising his eyebrows really high, and then he has 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 wrinkles on either side, like they're beaming.
They're huge.
It's like Wi-Fi signal.
And his facial expression says, "I don't get why I'm here."
He's like,
he looks very confused. You know, sometimes people look smug or they look sad or scared. He's just like, what?
come on, guys.
Like,
Come on, guys.
I told you I would get all of them.
Come on, guys. What is this, a free country? I thought I'm not allowed to say I can wipe out the whole gay community. A Tampa man has been arrested after police say he made online threats about committing a mass shooting targeting the gay community. So
I thought it was anonymous.
That was anonymous. He can't even. I'm going to go to the Madonna concert, all right? And all of them are going to be there.
Yep.
That's his.
Yep, that's it. No, I don't know a single gay person that would miss
a Madonna.
Do you know any gay people? Absolutely fucking not.
Not. I would never go check out Madonna's. I was trying to think of a song.
I love the idea of them mentioning like lesbians. He's like, what's that? It's like, you know, like women. He's like, women do it too.
Wow.
Oh fuck.
Fuck.
This is wait. I need more bullets.
This is an endeavor.
Wait. Actually, I decided they could do it.
They can do it. Actually, on second thought, they're allowed. So police say after Perkins was rejected for... Okay, wow. I think I skipped ahead. Ralph Perkins, that's his name. I guess you can look him up. 50 of Black Cypress Lane in Tampa was arrested after police say Perkins made threats while having a conversation on a dating app Tuesday morning. So this wasn't even... It wasn't... I shouldn't say it wasn't even, because it's not okay to make these threats. But it wasn't on like a public forum. It was a private conversation with...
Also, I just want to say real quick, Ralph doesn't know this article exists, and they dropped the zip code on him, and so he's going to go back and try to tell everybody he got arrested. Yeah, it was a DUI. I just had
bullshit,
a little too much
Ralph.
to drink.
Oh, you want to wipe me out too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he goes back to his street, and every house except his has a rainbow gay pride flag.
What the fuck happened to the goddamn? Yeah. You see what happens only for one fucking day.
There goes the neighborhood.
Oh, okay,
that was great.
Nice.
Great
yeah.
article.
So I also let's here let me think about let's think about this.
All right.
He's on a dating app, right? You think he said it to a girl on the dating app? Why would he say to the girl? Why would he say to a girl,
bro?
On a dating?
I'll tell you why, bro. Because I'm so not gay that I'd kill them all.
Oh.
I love women
so much.
So let me tell you, okay. And you are a woman and liked your photos. You looking thick like a bowl of oatmeal, girl.
You look like a bowl. You want to kill the gays together?
Yeah.
Methinks was on like Grindr and was talking to a man,
right?
And the man rejected him, and he goes, "I'll wipe out the whole gay community.
I'm not even gay. I'm not even gay.
I was doing you a
jokes
favor.
on you,
I was
buddy.
asking you to suck my dick. I was doing you.
I was gonna come over and have you suck my dick. I was gonna call you a faggot.
It's not gay to get your dick sucked.
Yeah, it's not. All right, so deal with it.
So I'll wipe all you out.
Yeah,
that's honestly.
And I planned to do that before you rejected me. I was gonna kill you guys anyways.
So you get one last dick suck in, and then you're welcome. Well, that was really. How do you think that was an insensitive news article?
Maybe, but like I think that
I think we played it well.
Well, also I think that all of my gay friends that I have would probably have thought that was funny. I don't think
that's
they
what I'm
would have been
thinking.
offended by the word.
We're not offensive.
No.
All right, let's see if we can change that with this next one. This one just says ruthless. Sheriff. This is the sheriff's statement, I guess. Woman faked being kidnapped so she could steal car.
I'm listening.
All right, let's see.
I don't see how those two. I don't get it.
Authorities say a North Carolina woman pretended she had been kidnapped so she could take advantage of a good Samaritan and steal his car.
Yeah. Oh wait. Okay, so the one guy was a Limp Bizkit cover band. Right. This girl's in a Flock of Seagulls cover band, and the last guy is in a I don't know, Bob Dylan for some reason. I don't know. Sure. He doesn't look anything like Bob Dylan, but I feel like he thinks he does.
He's singing Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And they're all in a band together.
Except he turns them all into a racist song.
Right.
Yeah,
of course. All right. Virginia, she got two vowels close together. Saverdra. It's S-A-A-V. Okay, all right. Is accused of going up to a house in Sofia on Wednesday and telling the occupant she had just been kidnapped and escaped an attempted kidnapping by a stranger. So wait, she went up to a house. Because I thought she went up to somebody on the street that was at their car and was like, "Hey, I just tried to get kidnapped."
Somebody just tried to get kidnapped.
Yeah. Can you drive me to to the cops. Can you drive me to the cops? But authorities say the man let Savannah sit in his truck. But if she went out to the house, why wouldn't he let her wait in the house? Because then I'm kidnapping her.
Yeah.
Right. Because then I look like he was trying to kidnap me.
Right.
I don't know what this is saying. She's not black, by the way. She looks more Hispanic.
She's ambiguously South American.
Yes, I would say. Sit in his truck to warm up. Yeah, no. You can't come in the house. I got to warm the truck up anyway because I'm going to work here in a second. You sit in the truck. I'll go call the cops. They say she fled in the truck, which was because how did she know he would let her sit in the truck? That's very elaborate. If you walk up to someone's house, you say, I just tried to be kidnapped. Unless she was like, do you think I could sit in the car and warm up?
That's why I'm saying that I don't think that the headline makes sense. I think that this is more by happenstance. Like maybe
she gave her.
Yeah.
She was probably just trying to get in the house and rob the house.
Yeah, maybe.
And she's like, fuck it, I'll take the truck.
I'll take the truck.
There's no wallet in
It's
here.
a nice truck. I like the 90, 94, 95 F-150 body style. I'm a boxy truck girl. What can I say?
I like how they made her like a fucking mastermind.
Yeah.
You know what this is? You know what news articles have a very bad habit of doing?
What's that?
They have a really bad habit of teaching people how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than like preventing anything. Like
Right.
I can't tell you how many times it's this year, every single Christmas season, a few days before Christmas, they'll tell you the same thing. All right, and don't leave any boxes out of your new TVs out on the lawn because then all the thieves in the area are going to know what you stole. Dude, that's just every thief going,
oh shit.
oh,
That's a
that's
good fucking
fucking
idea.
smart.
Nice.
And they
Nice.
drive, and everyone that didn't watch the Suncoast,
Yeah.
Times or whatever, is like gonna get fucking robbed. It just teaches people. So this is what she honestly didn't think of that.
There's no way.
she could
There's no
predict
way.
he was gonna put him in the car.
No, there's no way. If I say it can't work, it just can't work.
It can't work,
'Cause I'm
exactly.
the greatest criminal of all time.
The greatest criminal and a pretty good math guy too. Well, Jesus, how about that for the news? No Christmas news there. Maybe we should have some Christmas news.
Yeah.
But we don't have any Christmas news. Well, it's too late.
The Christmas news is Santa Claus is coming to town.
Santa Claus is coming to town. This episode drops
Yeah.
Monday, as always. And, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Excuse me. Maybe you're listening to this on Christmas, and there's your news. Don't leave your boxes outside because then people will know what you got.
Yep.
And if you're a thief, that's how you just cruise up and
That's
down
how
the
you
street.
steal stuff.
Yeah. Write down all the addresses where they're like Samsung. It's like you ask your kids, what do you want? You want an Xbox?
Yeah.
Drive up and down the road and check trashes for Xbox boxes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Xbox boxes.
Yeah. Boxes for an Xbox.
Yeah, it's fun to say.
Box in a box.
All right, we're going to get stuck.
Alrighty.
Box in a
Welcome to Dark Web MD, medical knowledge your doctor won't tell you about.
One time I was delivering pizza to a house, and the next thing I knew, I woke up sewed anus to mouth with my 3 friends. Luckily, I was at the front and didn't have to eat poop, and was also able to comfortably access Dark Web MD to find out more about my symptoms.
Dark Web MD gives complete access to archives of information to help with everything from at-home tumor removal to the actual value of an arm and a leg. Sick of losing to your tennis partner? Send them polio. That's right, Dark Web MD won't only help identify ailments, we will sell them to you. Dark Web MD, where you go when they say there's no cure.
What was the name of? Do you remember by any chance the name of?
No, I'm really bad at knowing the names of
the
musicians.
musicians.
Sorry. But yeah, it was very funny. I encourage you to look it up. And obviously, I probably embellished some stuff because my memory sucks. But that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that is. I'm sure you didn't embellish it too much. I love Amon Amarth. Like I didn't start. Like I heard the first time I ever heard them. I was in middle school as a friend of mine. We're at my parents' house is usually where we record. We meet here. And way across like the other, it's actually that neighborhood right there. That one where you see those houses on the other side of that fence. He lived in there and he listened to Amon Amarth. And like I was saying, it was a slow creep. I remember the first time he ever showed me that, and I was like, dude, this is rough. Like I can't listen to this. I can't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah.
I can't like everything. It's bombarding my senses.
Yep.
Like I can't make any sense of it, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. And so like I never even listened to it. I would use it to show people, like, check out, this shit exists. Like my sisters.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh yeah, you want to hear some crazy shit? Like I would use it as a punchline.
Yeah.
and I still do,
Yeah.
but now I actually listen to it, but it's still like a punchline. People are like,
Yeah.
hey, we're on a nice quiet drive to like the mountains. You guys want to listen to something?
Yeah.
And you just start turning up like,
Yeah, dude, I have a song off the new Infant Annihilator album, and that's your thing. That
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, people do this.
people
Like,
fucking make this
is
shit.
music.
Check it
Yeah.
out. And you're like, you know what the funniest thing is? I like it.
I know.
But and then it like over time, like I started. There was an album that came out. It was one of their older ones actually, and I liked Twilight of the Thunder God.
Yeah,
that
of course.
album. That was the last one I liked until 2 albums ago. So there was Thunder God came out, and then it was like another one I can't remember the name, and another one, and I didn't like.
It had a very
Jones Viking was the
Yeah.
first one where I started liking it.
Oh,
again.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one was the where I started. That was the
And then
last
what about
CD.
War of the Gods? Because that's my favorite album by them. I think.
Maybe it might. I thought that might be before
Yeah,
Twilight of the Thunder God.
yeah. I think it is the one right
Because that's
before
when
that.
Twilight. The one before that they had. Oh shit! I can't remember the name of the song, but yeah, I think that might have been before. So it was the 2 after, and I was like, dude, I'm not. For some reason, I just don't like these ones.
Yep.
So I would listen to Twilight of the Thunder God every time I go to the gym. I'd start the first song, and then it would play through, and then I got a hold of Yam's Viking when it came out, and it just the same thing. And then now with Berserker, I go to the gym as soon as I warm up with like hip hop. And then when I start lifting, I put on Berserker, and right by the time like the last like 2 songs are coming on,
Absolutely.
I'm like out of the gym.
Yep.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that, because now I can bring this up, and it's still all within the metal pantheon, but how that song, let me ask you this. What song gets you the most pumped on the album? Like when you're
On
lifting?
Berserker?
On Berserker. When you're, and you see, I mean, you're lifting with it. Is there one where it's like, oh, this just gets me?
It's got to be Valkyria, dude. That song,
one, yeah.
Just my favorite thing about that is I watched a documentary on them recording it. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they recorded this album differently. Okay, they recorded this album instead of doing like, okay, the guitarist goes in and does his tracks, or whatever. What they did was they played as a live band. They would play the song like, let's say 4 or 5 times as though they were playing a concert, and he would say, okay, this is the best guitar take, this is the best drum
Wow.
take, and he put all the drums together.
Is that something a lot of bands do?
It's pretty common, yeah, but in metal, I don't think it's as common because you're trying to be so tight, and it's usually so really well produced. If you listen to Valkyria, if you turn it up, do you know what happens before the music starts?
Take 10.
No, take 1.
Take 1.
Yeah.
Dun.
Yeah. And so that's
I remember that. Take 1.
Yeah, he pushes the button, and that's the studio engineer, and they were like, leave that in there. People need to know
we did it
nailed
one take, motherfucker.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Dude. Because that explains.
Yeah.
Because every time I hear it, it starts, you hear it's all quiet. It goes, take 1. Oh, dude. That's so fucking cool.
It is.
So the song for me, and it's so crazy because I really liked, and when I first started listening, I just started from beginning to end, and that's how I always listen to it. And so the first song is
Fafnir's Gold.
Fafnir's Gold, bro. Which Fafnir's Gold is great because I've listened to enough Jordan Peterson and heard people talk about the hero's tale and everything, and how so that Fafnir's Gold is a guy goes and fights a fucking dragon for the gold.
Yep.
And that story is the human story, the search for blank. And it's also your story for anything. Like you can lay it on top of anything. Like my goal being, you just whatever the goal is, you make that your goal, and then that's the story that you're going through. So I want a popular podcast. My dragon is trying to become popular. I have to slay this dragon.
Yep.
And by slaying it, I have to like sharpen my steel, which is I'm getting better at making the podcast. And pretty soon I'll slay, then have the thing. Like you can lay it over everything. So you can listen to that story or listen to that song. Think about what your dragon's tale is, and then get fucking jacked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get fucking jacked about it because they're fucking serious about it. Fafnir's Gold.
Yeah,
and
man.
then it's got that breakdown, which they never really did before.
Dude, and he talks about that. He goes,
They used to never do that.
Yeah, and then he also talks about because that's the one where you do the spinning
you
head.
stop and
yeah,
you fucking-
yeah, because
whoa.
there's a few different types of headbangs. If you don't know, there's the total like just your
yeah.
head when
Up
you're
and
like
down.
you see the guys like laying on the stage and they're just moving their head. Then
Like-
there's like the full body big
Right.
swing in your hair, and then rarely
Rarely
does
do you see
music actually get you to do the circle head. It's a very
whole-
type
whole
of
circle.
gallop. Yeah, you just like
It's a very
circle
a
on your head.
gallop.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's a gallop.
If they do the gallop,
Yeah.
you really feel like
Yep.
you're riding that fucking horse into
Yep.
battle.
Yeah, it's
And, dude,
great.
It's on that breakdown. It's usually my first my first like lift, and it'll be like the third set of like chest, like where I'm doing heavy on chest, and I just wait for that breakdown. I'm breathing, and then that breakdown comes, you just like galloping. Oh, dude, it's so fucking great.
Well, so look, I would like to recommend a couple albums to people if they aren't familiar with metal. Maybe and maybe we could get them kind of try something new.
Try something new, guys.
And these are going to be kind of recent. Obviously you should. It's always fun in music to do your homework and listen to where it came from. But I might throw some of those in at the end. But so basically, listen to Amon Amarth's Berserker.
Just because we're talking about it.
Yeah,
right,
and because it's a great gateway. And if you're like, I showed my friend Metalocalypse song Sky Hunter, and he was like, I can't do it. And I was like, what don't you? Is it the vocals? He's like, no, dude, the drums are too intense. Like I can't. Yeah. And I realized that to people uninitiated, it might sound just like a wall of noise. You haven't really learned to separate
pick it apart.
Yeah. So if Berserker's not too much, if you dig the drums and stuff like that, I would try this band called After the Burial.
After the Burial. I'm writing these down too, guys. So we're going to do this together.
They have an album that came out this year called Evergreen. And so this is going to be a little bit heavier vocally, and it's going to have a little polyrhythm. So it's not going to be like always 4 on the floor, like easy to bob your head to. And the drums are going to be a little more intense. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, okay, this screaming didn't bother me because he's got a little bit more intense vocals. If this screaming didn't bother me and I like these drums, the last album I think you should check out is by this band called Alter Beast. And the album is called Feast. Mm-hmm. And this is like technical death metal at its best, really. Right. I'm not saying it's the best technical death metal. I'm just saying, like, musicianship wise, this is technical death, but this has like mostly blast beats, very technical guitar solos, very intense screaming and vocals. So that Alter Beast Feast, and that is my personal favorite, truly
Alter Beast Feast.
That's my personal favorite Jim album, anything. And for an album to be able to be played all the way through speaks so much to it, and then to be able to play an album all the way through all the time, like that album, Berserker and Evergreen, those two albums came out that I recommended. They came out this year. Alter Beast Feast came out in 2017, and I still listen to it at least twice a month. Like, it is such a good album.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm definitely going to be After the Burial, and that's the album Evergreen, and then Alter Beast Feast, because I definitely want to try those.
Yeah, and for those listening at home, Berserker, Amon Amarth Berserker is like kind of the entry, like, do I like heavier stuff? And then After the Burial is like, do I dig heavier stuff? And then Alter Beast, if you like Alter Beast, I've got like 3 hours we can talk, I got a whole diagram drawn out. I do.
Like webs. Flowchart. I got a whole flowchart. Yeah. So the song for me that gets me the most, I don't want to keep yanking us all the way back.
I'm so sorry. I thought Fafnir's Gold was your song. I didn't mean
Fafnir's Gold was just great.
No. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, I'm just saying this because the only reason I would even draw it back is because I don't know where to go after that. Yeah. So I'm just trying to keep the conversation.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm just trying to keep the convo flowing. The song, I'll show you here the toilet running. It's called Berserker at Stamford Bridge.
And that's a real story.
That's based on a true story. So I did my research with that one because I was thinking about that. Like, after I had listened to it, and I was like, wow, that's like, I just want to look that up. Like,
yeah.
And what's funny is I listened to the album so many times through, and there's times when you're listening to it and you're working out and your mind drifts from the music and you're not like thinking about it anymore. Yep. It's just kind of there. And so almost every single time, by the time it got to that song, for like a first while, like my mind was somewhere else. It happened almost like a month into listening to the album, like really far into listening to the album. Yeah. I'm lifting and I'm actually tuning in to what's being said and what's like happening, and I'm like, oh my God.
Whenever he says, I think he says, Englishman, I am standing here in my heart. I know not an ounce of fear. I was like, oh my God.
I'm like, oh my, and it's like this whole like thing that, just everything that builds up to it. So it's based on a true story of these Vikings. It was like one of the last great, it was like right at the end of the Viking century or whatever, and they're in England, and I don't remember who the fuck the king was at the time or whoever it was. Maybe do you remember?
No, I don't. But he ambushed them essentially, right?
Well, yeah, they were marching, and they came up to the I don't know, whatever river, but there's a Stamford Bridge going over. It's called Stamford Bridge. It's still there today, and actually they're not sure which one is actually Stamford Bridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're pretty sure it's like this one, but they think because the names have changed. And so they're at this, they come up to this river, and as they get there, over the hill comes the English army. And they were not expecting the English army to be there. Like, oh, fuck, we did not expect you guys to be here. They had already lost a couple battles. Their numbers had dwindled.
Yeah.
And they see like thousands, way more, like 10,000. They're like 2,000. Like, oh, fuck. Like, too many.
Yeah.
Too many. And so they turn, all the Vikings turn to retreat. And as they retreat, a berserker went onto the bridge. He walks onto the bridge. And all the Englishmen start charging because they're like, this is our chance to fucking crush this bug. They start charging. They come onto the bridge because they can't cross the river. It's very 300, the tail of 300 with like the bottleneck. So they're all coming onto the bridge, and this berserker fucking slaughters 40 men.
Yeah.
This is the tale. This isn't the song. Of course, the song depicts this fucking beautifully.
Right.
But he slaughters 40 men because 40 men died by my steel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after 40 guys died, and they're like, what are we going to do? The story goes, they took a barrel, they cut a couple barrels in half, so made two like boats, like big wooden barrels, and sent guys out onto the river with spears, and they went up under the bridge and they speared him in the groin, and that's what killed him. But he did that to hold them off so his men can retreat. He was the only one standing there. And dude, it's written down somewhere. It could be a fake story. It could be a real story. But I mean, those armies really were in that area at that time, so they assume it's a real one. But dude,
And let me tell you something.
gets me jazzed.
First of all, I applaud you
Yeah.
for picking a song that is like one of the more like challenging listens. Like it has a build up. There's a narrative. It's not
yeah.
like Valkyria is just like, we start take one. We start heavy and we stay heavy. Yeah. And that song that you chose is like, honestly, like the better musical choice. It's
Right.
it's written better.
It's
and
got
it's
a
got
lot of dynamic.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really I loved. That's my favorite song because that song just gets me the most.
Oh, yeah.
Like, ooh.
And you know what? You mentioned that because I listen to it when I'm weightlifting as well. And I always notice when he says like the breakdown, Englishman, I am standing here like, oh my God. Also,
wait to lift on that
yeah.
one. Yeah.
I just want to say though, real quickly that
Chucky Chan's Martial Arts and Crafts Emporium. You know my uncle, Jackie Chan, as a spectacular martial artist. I'm not, because I personally abhor violence. And more importantly, the geese really upset my psoriasis. But I have been around my uncle and martial arts all my life. This store is a testament to that. We sell the highest quality martial arts related crafts. You see a lot of boards being broken in the belt test, and they are all just so plain. Spice it up with some googly eyes. Or, with just a few pipe cleaners and creativity, you could change that board into a swan. We could tie-dye your gi and bedazzle that belt. All of the best martial arts and crafts and more. Just as for me, Chucky Chan. Chucky, you are a bigger disgrace. Uncle Jackie, you're so funny. Chucky Chan's Martial Arts and Crafts Emporium. Millennial Book Club. Millennial Book Club. Marlboro Baboon cigars.
yeah,
Is what we were talking about just before.
I smoke them.
You smoke them.
Yep.
The kids smoke them.
Yep.
The baboons smoke them.
Yeah, that's where they got their name actually.
Because-
Baboons used to roll banana leaves.
Yeah.
And they would roll like dried leaves into dried banana leaves, and they would smoke it. And Marlboro was like, they're onto something. These baboons.
Marlboro. So they just like Marlboro does. They rolled in there and they crushed
gentrified baboon cigars.
That's right. This is what they fucking did. And this is the Millennial Book Club segment where we're just watching fucking Netflix.
Yep.
Do you read books?
Yes.
Well, we're not counting you, but most of us don't read
Yeah.
books, Justin.
Yeah, I don't read enough books. I have a bad habit of like buying a new book when I'm halfway through with a book and then getting excited, and so I have a lot of half-read books at my house.
Yeah, that's enough. Like, yeah,
and then like I know it's kind of cheesy, but then like once a year at least, I reread Old Man and the Sea because it only takes like 4 hours to read. It's
maybe
a short
for
book.
You.
No, it's a really short book, and like anytime I get on an airplane, so it's like, why don't I just read the books I bought instead of rereading?
Because I like them old. I know what it's about. I like the one.
I like the message, and I like old men,
and I like
the sea.
And
yeah,
a 4-hour read about a guy reeling a fish.
Yeah,
something about it,
dude. There's a point in that book where a sparrow lands on his fishing pole, and
boy, shit gets cranked up right there.
Dude, it's just such a great moment. Anyways, all right, we're not gonna talk about it. All right, the point is Millennial Book Club.
Millennial Book Club. Here we are. There's no books. We're just watching Netflix originals, and we pick a Netflix original, and you guys watch it throughout the week. We come back the next week and we talk about it like a book club, but with Netflix originals.
I love it.
Good. That's a good statement to make when you're doing the Millennial Book Club.
That's what you told me when I signed the waiver.
You can never say that you don't like it.
Yep.
And this episode is on Astronomy Club.
Yep.
Astronomy Club. You know, we've been on a hot roll of things that are pretty decent.
Yep.
Last week was Daybreak, which is kind of it was okay. It wasn't like it's very niche. Like there's a really specific group of people I think that would really like it. Astronomy Club, however, I think is much more widespread. I think more
very
people
accessible.
It's very accessible. It was really good. Let me read you also, have you noticed that Netflix, their explanations or like their synopsis that they have like right on the app have been like, they just tell you what it's like.
Yeah.
It's like this, but also like it's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off meets Zombieland. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I saw one recently that was just a bad joke.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like, what is happening? I wish I could remember, but it was like, it was like not relevant to the show, and I was like, what is happening right now?
Did you watch the show and then like...
Yeah, it was one of those shows that I watch over and over again, so, because I do that, so who knows what show it was.
What if they like change over time? Like what if they change because you watch?
Yeah, I think they might. They're like, this guy... You're back again?
Just like directly aimed at you.
Yeah.
Justin, we know you're going to watch it. All right, so this one for Astronomy Club, it says, with unique individual perspectives that converge into a unified voice, sketch comedy group Astronomy Club delivers a smart and absurd brand of humor.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
It's so good.
Oh, let me read what the IMDb says about it. This Kenya Barris-produced sketch comedy show features the Astronomy Club, the first all-black house team at the Upright Citizens Brigade. So, you know what I like is that Netflix did not lean on the race aspect.
No.
So this, like, what you need, because 90% of everybody that is going to talk about this show, or like if in this situation, of course we're going to mention it, is that it's an all black sketch,
and the humor
group.
is like primarily like black culture, and
it is, which I fucking love, because so much so you watch the first two like sketches are racial like trope sketches,
of course,
like that are based on, but then it goes into like, oh, now we're seeing like black culture sketches, like things that are unique to. And it doesn't have to do with like a racially like charged situation, like the white people and black people. Like it was a sketch where her edges were frizzed. Like it's a very like obviously we don't have personal experience of it. We're aware that that's something, but
of course,
that is a. You keep talking. You vamp. You got to vamp, and I'm gonna go lock that door.
Okay. Yeah, but the show was really really good. Isaiah's going to lock a door and it's distracting. So everybody just learned I can't vamp. So turns out
you can't vamp. All right, we'll work on your vamping later.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the sketches. I laughed out loud, which is uncommon for me. I'm a huge consumer of comedy, but I don't often laugh out loud. Like even my favorite show, like I think ever, is that Mike Judge show Silicon Valley that just ended on HBO. Truly, I think that's my favorite show of all time. And even that doesn't really make me laugh out loud.
I really need to jump on that show. I really need to watch it.
I trust you enough to give you my Amazon password so you can have access to HBO, like Curb Your Enthusiasm stuff.
Yes.
Just please don't fucking buy stuff, okay? Or if you do, like, pay me back, you know?
Okay.
So anyways, I appreciate a well-written joke, but this show actually had me laughing out loud. And I think, Patrick explained one time to me, because he's a comedy writer.
Right.
And he was like, comedy really is surprise.
Yes.
And it's about not seeing the outcome. And, in Silicon Valley, it's usually like more witty banter or physical comedy bits, kind of like think Kramer when you think physical comedy.
Right,
yeah. With this one, they had just really good punchlines for the sketches, and oftentimes sketches can go on too long for me. Like I love Key and Peele, for instance. I've seen a lot, if not probably all, of their stuff and from their Comedy Central show. And oftentimes I would find that the sketches would go on too long. It's like that last punchline that goes a little too far. And I'm not criticizing them as comedians. I'm just saying that for me, I don't have the attention span. You guys are doing great stuff, but and this one, it felt like the sketches were just the perfect length.
Yeah. And I'm this. I completely understand. There are a lot of sketches. A lot of times you see these sketch comedy shows, and I think SNL does it just because it's kind of like their thing. Mm-hmm. But and they need more material because they're cranking it out by the week. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to these sketches, knowing when, okay, that's it. That's your punchline. Yep. It seems like these sketches were just really well written and written out. And then here's another thing: when it comes to a large cast, a large group, because all these people aren't only because it's an improv group, so they're all pretty equally weighted as far as writing and bringing material.
Yep.
But it's going through...
And not only that, I don't mean to interrupt, but they're all capable of performing at UBC, Upright Citizens Brigade. You've got to be good.
You've got to be really good. Yeah. And they, they're the first all-black troupe. I wonder, it must be the one in... it's probably they're all from New York.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so they have the New York one. And so, and also when you have that many people, and then it comes to the finished product, because there's so many voices that want to be heard, and there's so many people well, no, I think we should leave that in. But I think we should cut that. No, I think we should leave this in. And you get that sketch that's too long because everybody wanted the punchline. And so either you need to have a voice, you need to have a group that's able to come together and crush an ego and be you're right, that joke was better than mine, and we need to cut mine and put this one here because it's going to be better overall.
Yeah.
Not, I want my joke because it was my line and it was my joke and I want people to like me. Either you do that with a group that's cohesive enough to do that, or you have to funnel it all through one person who's got the final decision, who's going to be no, we got to cut this. This is better. Yeah. This is better.
Well, I do want to speak to the show's testament. I think that's how you use that phrase right now, because I realized I was thinking in my head, my favorite Key and Peele skits are the 3-minute ones versus their 5 or 6 minute ones. Yeah. But I just realized that episode was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they do break it up with their fake reality show.
Which is great.
They all live in a house. It's a Big Brother thing, and it's very well done. They even hit the music cues and stuff, switch from 10 synth music to acoustic guitar.
Of course, you would notice it. There was this one point when you mentioned it, and you were oh, the music is perfect, because it was supposed to be a more serious.
Resolving,
and I was dude, he's right. They thought of everything.
They nailed it, yeah. But anyways, I was just going to say that I think that those sketches might be kind of long, some of them, right? What do you think the average sketch time is if they break it up? 20 minutes, 4 sketches? Probably about 4 minutes.
4 or 5 minutes, yeah. There was some that are a little shorter. There was no really quick bangers. I think maybe the shortest one might have been the intro one, but even that one is at least 4 minutes.
Yeah, 3, 4, for sure.
Yeah.
But I definitely recommend this. It's so good.
Yeah, and what what I love about this show, and not they put you in the racially charged situation where you're there's this injustice done to black people in this situation, but then they almost turn it back on itself again, and they do it twice. So in the first one, it's the very first sketch when it opens up. It's the typical. There's a group of black guys, and they're standing outside a closed office building.
Right,
and there's this white lady on the other side, and they're "Yo, we forgot our key. Let us in." And she's in that moment of are these guys here to rob the place?
She clutches her purse.
She clutches, and she's got that scared look. Yeah. Come on, man, we went to college and shit.
Yeah.
And they open the door and thank you, right? Come on in.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they're in the building and they're talking about, man, I can't believe this shit's 2020, right? a vampire's outside,
Right.
And the vampire. So now it like turns it back on them, and I just thought that was such a clever like direction to go to like, oh, dude, that's really funny, like, you know, to do that extra little thing, and then they did the same thing again in the Robin Hood sketch.
Yeah.
So they have like Robin Hood's robbing a house, and turns out to be a black man. Right. And he's like, "Ma, you robbing the rich and giving to the poor? More like robbing the rich and giving to the white." Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Little John walks in, and he's black.
Yeah.
And he knows him.
Got
he's like,
clout.
He's got clout. He's like, oh, he knows him. He's like, why'd you leave us? Why'd you get rich and leave the community? Right?
Yeah.
It's just a really, really clever like double take, and like I also like that not every sketch is like about race. Like they had the gingerbread house sketch, which was, I think it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
it was funny.
It was good. It's funny because like that sketch in particular, I was like, could you imagine being in the pitch room?
Yeah.
And just like, hear me out.
All right, hear me out.
And then not only are you going to hear me out, but we're going to actually go through with producing.
And everyone's
sketch.
like, I like it.
Yeah.
Dude, because when it comes to producing, that sketch was probably the most expensive because everyone had costume. They had to build that whole set. Then they had to destroy that set. Yeah. That one was probably, so that sketch was.
And you know, the production value of the show is really good.
Yeah. It's very well edited. It's very, everything. It's a great show, man. They did really, really well. It'll probably most definitely, and not only that, because they didn't lean on, like in the synopsis, it's probably going to draw in a few people that wouldn't watch it if it was a black only sketch comedy show. Yeah. So by not mentioning that it's and also I like by not mentioning it, it's like, it's just a show, man. We don't have to like comment on who it's for. It's a comedy. It's for everybody. And
do you remember in Masters of None, the episode with the two Indian guys?
Dude, I don't know if I've watched that.
Oh man, that should be an NBC for sure. It's like on par with like Louis C.K. level good comedy show. I'm actually really shocked that you're not familiar with it.
I've heard of the name, but I'm losing a.
So basically, the show follows Aziz Ansari as himself. Well, as kind of how Louis follows him.
He has that book too, right? Masters. That's why I know. Yeah.
And he, which is of course like Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
So him kind of aimlessly wandering his life in New York, trying to be an actor, doing commercials, and it shows his career growing and his relationships and stuff. But anyways, there's a point where he's up for this show, and it would be really big for him if he got it. And his other friend is up for the show as well. I believe a different character, and they're both Indian. It comes down to it, and they're like, yeah, so we're going to give him the role for the character you were trying out for instead. And he's like, why? And he goes, well, you can't have two Indians because then it's an Indian cop show.
Right.
And Aziz is like, so what? Like, so what? You know? And they're like, yeah, we don't think the public is ready for an Indian cop show. Like, we can't have two Indians and we'll become the Indian cop. You understand, you know? And that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's that not only did they do like a black sketch comedy show, but they're not branding it like that. That's pretty cool.
They're not branding it, which is, you know, it's just it's good. It's really, I mean, there's been like predominantly black sketch comedy shows. Obviously, In Living Color being like the most, like the biggest one.
Yeah,
but dude, it's just cool. It's cool to see. I thought, and it's really well done, and it was funny. I think anyone's really going to be entertained by it.
And I do want to say one thing real quick. In my pursuit of wokeness as a joke, right? Like as trying not to be like a white guy who doesn't understand anything.
We're all trying. Right?
There are two podcasts that I listen to. One of them is pretty funny. It's on Earwolf, which is the same company that does Comedy Bang Bang. It's called Yo, Is This Racist?
Right.
And they interview a guest, and then they have people call in and leave voicemails where asking if scenarios in life are racist. One of my favorites was this guy called in, and he's like, hey, he was a white guy. He's like, I went to Taco Bell and I asked for hot sauce, and the guy assumed I wanted mild. Like, is that racist? You know? But sometimes they're a little more serious of like, hey, I'm dating a black woman and my mom does this when we go over. Like, is that racist? You know, those types of things. So anyways, the other one is called Mash Up Americans. Uh-huh. And they do something similar. It's way less funny and more informative. And one of the things they talk about all the time is representation. So for a young kid of a certain race to see, their race doing music or doing sports or doing like acting and comedy is like super important,
Right.
They talk about like, what was that movie? It was like a romantic comedy and it was like all Asian. I don't remember, but, or like that show Off the Boat, right? Like it's an Asian family, and so representation is important. So I think having like a sketch comedy show that not only has like a token person of a certain race, but actually discusses things that you as like a teenager who's interested in comedy, these are experiences I have, so like we get that all the time. That just is America,
because,
but for them to have that, like, has there ever, been a sketch about sweating your edges out,
No,
and it's like, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. And when it's great for them because it leaves such a great, like, door open for so many things that haven't been touched on in like the mainstream kind of comedy thing. It's really awesome. And you're right, like that. Yeah, that representation. Like for us, we just, for the white man, every time you turn on the TV, you're like, oh, there's another white guy I identify with, and so yeah, dude, you need more people out there to inspire. So you're very woke. Very woke.
Barely
woke.
Yeah.
That's the name of my next podcast.
Yeah.
Barely woke.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Don't steal that.
Don't steal that. Don't steal that name. All right. So now we're choosing. Where would you put it? Must watch. Watch it if it's there.
Yeah, must watch.
Yes,
for sure.
Must watch. If you want to try a new, like you're looking for a sketch comedy show, you just want to try something out, definitely give her a shot because it's not crass, it's not dirty. Like there's cursing, but it's not like so. I watched 2 episodes. The third one started. I didn't see anything that was like sexually or super crass or
sure.
Like,
yeah. I can't say for sure. I've only seen the first episode, but yeah.
It was it's good. So you definitely must watch Astronomy Club on Netflix, the Netflix original. It was a fucking great one. The next week, the next Millennial Book Club, what we're going to be watching is The Witcher.
The Witcher.
I should have. Usually, I have the.
Well, I can vamp on this. I'm super excited.
You want to vamp on The Witcher? Tell them about The Witcher. Where's The Witcher?
So, The Witcher is a series of books and then a series of video games that follow that story. So, where the books in the video games pick up, and it's really, really interesting. The Witcher is essentially a bounty hunter who is not technically human, but that's all I'm going to say. And all they do is they wander around and they kill monsters, right, for money, right, and trying to help people out.
Cool.
So that's pretty much it.
So that's pretty much it, and that's pretty much exactly what it says here. Geralt of Rivia, a mutated monster hunter for hire, journeys towards his destiny in a turbulent world where people often prove more wicked than beasts.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's it. It definitely, because I heard they're still searching for their Game of Thrones over at Netflix, and I don't know if this is going to be their Game of Thrones, but it's going to give that feel.
Yeah.
Also, it's got a huge following as far as like it was considered like one of the great. Anybody who's super into video games, and especially that genre, they're like, yeah, The Witcher's fucking dope.
The Witcher 3 in particular, I think, is the one that's it's such a good game. Yeah.
So that is next week's Millennial Book Club. You can write in to the Millennial Book Club and give us your reviews, roadsodamail@gmail.com. Also, if you're like, hey, you guys should watch this as the Millennial Book Club, you can send in your suggestions to roadsodamail@gmail.com. Or if you're like, I can't type because I can't read, but I like to watch stuff and I like watching things, I think you guys should watch this. You can call in to 706-200-1213. Again, 706-200-1213, and leave a message. Let it ring. I've just realized it's ringing a lot. Like when you call, it rings through like it's going somewhere. It rings through a bunch, and then it goes. And then it finally goes to voicemail. I think I can change that to where it only rings like one time, and then it goes straight to voicemail. But either way, it'll ring, it'll go to voicemail. Leave your message, and you'll hear it right here on the air. And that's the fucking Millennial Book Club. Watch The Witcher for next week.
Yeah.
How about that? Shit.
Do you want to walk in the park but don't have a reason to? Dick Diamond's used pet sales. I've got dogs, cats, horses. Once, we even had a giraffe. Stop by Dick Diamond's used pet sales. Our pets are cheap and reliable, and all our pets are just like new and gently used. We got a hamster for my son Timmy, and it lived for 6 months. It only died because it was eaten by our cat, that we also got from Dick. What's really sad is that the cat choked to death on the hamster. Timmy was hysterical. Thankfully, we got the Diamond warranty plan, and Dick set us up with a replacement gerbil and parrot in no time. Don't spend top dollar for new pets. I've got perfectly good ones right here. Dick Diamond's used pet sales.
I know, like, okay, so I it might be safe to say that I am an MMA fighter, you know, because I do kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, but I'm way more of a grappler than I am a striker. So it's kind of, you know, but like being a fighter who's been training for 6 years, I am still not ever tough enough to be in warfare when there were blades.
No.
Like I have hours and hours and hours of tattoos. I've sat for like long 7-hour sessions, and just that is enough for me to like, I just want to go home and go to bed.
Yeah.
Like to be speared in the groin and then just keep fighting, or even just like kill 40 men with an axe. Like these Vikings, or like really any of the famous like armies like this, different type of people. And I truly think that like MMA fighters today are the closest thing we have.
Yeah.
Because like, did you hear Colby Covington broke his jaw in the second round of the Usman fight and didn't get TKO'd until almost the end? I think there was a minute left in the 5th round. He fought for 3 rounds knowing that every hit he took was surgery.
Oh, dude, it just makes me like...
I can't do that. Like,
No.
I've toyed with the idea of doing an amateur MMA fight.
Yeah.
Just to say I've done it.
with it.
Just to say I've done it. And then I start thinking about it, and
Broken
I'm like,
jaw, hit over and over again.
dude, just like getting kicked in the head and hitting. My wife is a doctor of physical therapy, so she's always like, anytime I entertain the idea, she's like, well, yeah, sure, you could do that, and you could be able to be big balls, and yeah, I fought an MMA fight, or maybe you won an MMA fight, or you could get kicked in the head once, fall down, hit your head on the concrete, and then I have to feed you from your wheelchair the rest of your life. And I was like, all right, Mandy, thank you, appreciate that.
I'll get your shit bags ready. I'll order them right now on Amazon.
Yeah. What color do you like? What scent? You won't know the difference.
You won't know the difference.
Anyways, it's just like, it's so cool to hear about that like spirit, you know, and you can apply that indomitable spirit to anything you do. You know, you can apply that energy. You don't have to.
You don't have to go
get
stab
stabbed.
people, get stabbed.
Yeah, Jesus, dude.
God forbid. That I really would have loved and enjoyed going to that fucking concert, dude. And that was like 2 nights ago, right?
It was.
Was that last week already?
It was last week
Shut
already.
the fuck
Last
up.
Friday. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was last Friday.
It was last Friday.
I did
already.
end up bringing my friend John, and I was worried, honestly, that he was not going to have a good time. And when we got there, he was acting a little nervous, you know, because it's kind of intimidating. And I leaned over to him, kind of giving him the heads up of like, you know, if you end up, I know I bought you a ticket, but if you end up wanting to go to a bar and like have a beer while I finish, you know, whatever, that's fine. And I said something to kind of hint to see how he's doing. He's like, no, dude, as soon as we walked in here, I was like, these are my people, you know? He's like, and he's not a metalhead really, you know? And he was just like, you get this vibe, like everybody there is cool, you know?
Everyone's just here to be fucking brutal.
There's a handful of people who are like tough guys or whatever, but like most people, like there's a dude in the mosh pit, super buff. And there was another guy in the mosh pit, super like fat, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't see any. I had fresh tattoo work done my sleeve, so I couldn't get in the mosh pit.
You don't want to,
but I was watching, and not once did I see them knock anybody over, and like more than once did I see them pick someone up who was skinny like me, who had fallen over, and it's like they knew their weight. They were just in there trying to mosh around, and they weren't trying to be like, I win the mosh pit, you know. And it was like, this is awesome, dude. These people are great,
dude. You know what? I've heard a little bit about like mosh pit culture in a way, or like mosh pit, like
mosh pit etiquette, maybe
etiquette. And there are these like enforcers who, that is their thing. They go to like every show. I knew some kids in high school, like they would go to every show. There's shit starters. There's people that are going to go because they're like, I know fucking Dave's gonna be there, and fuck Dave. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna be doing a quote unquote dance move and then accidentally crack this kid in the face because he was feeling on my girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there's also guys that go to like every show and they're like, no, I'm an enforcer. I'm there to make shit, sir, that when he hits him in the fucking face, I'm there to stop that fucking shit.
Yeah, like, and it does self-regulate.
Yeah, it self-regulates.
Personally, I'm sure there are videos on YouTube. I've never been at a concert where a mosh pit didn't self-regulate, you know?
Yeah.
And I will, if you've never been in a mosh pit, I can give you some tips and some etiquette. The first thing is always bend your knees.
Yes.
You need to be able to feel your heels on the ground because people don't notice you. It's dark. You're moving around. You're going to get hit and you're going to get knocked over. Which leads to the second thing. If someone falls down, try to get your base, spread out your arms to try to block people from hitting them.
Yeah.
And then if no one else helps you, then you can like reach down and help them back up.
Yeah, make space for the person.
You don't want the show to end because someone got their head trampled, you know?
No,
so
it's going to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, you know, it's brutal. Sure.
It's brutal, but
not it's our kind of brutality. And so the other thing is keep your elbows in. You should be pushing with your shoulders primarily and pushing with your forearm.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is don't push up. Like don't compromise your base and like, you know what I'm saying? You want to like squat down a little bit and then push. If you see someone coming towards you, put your elbows on your ribs. Yeah. And then squat down and lean in and be ready to like take that blow.
Right, yeah, everyone's kind of like bumping and like rolling together.
And it is okay to do a two-hand push.
Yeah.
Like you're not trying to, it almost seems like you're trying to start a fight.
No, but like that's why
you can do that, but I wouldn't push someone straight on. If they're spinning, I would push them in the direction they're spinning. I wouldn't like go toe to toe, stare someone and push them in the chest. It's like, all right, well, that's a different message.
Yeah,
you know,
that's different. Yeah.
But I can't stress keeping your elbows in enough because you can, if you elbow somebody and you hit them in the right spot, you can split their like eye over their orbital.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they got a medical bill, they got stitches, they're going to miss if you do that during the opener, they're going to miss the headliner, you know? So it's all about like having a good time, you know?
And you want to have a good time, you want everyone else to have a good time.
If you're going to do that wild, like hardcore kicking and swinging your arms, like get to the edge of the pit. Don't do it in the pit.
Space.
Yeah, it's really annoying when people do that in the pit because, I mean, it's okay if there's an open spot in the pit. But if you're moshing, there's like a breakdown and you're moshing and then you're like, oh, I'm going to show everybody my hardcore moves. And you kick someone in the nuts and punch someone in the face. It's like, that's going to happen. You're going to get hit on accident. And it's really, really important not to take it personally.
Right.
You know, don't get all fired up. But if they're being stupid, like you said, they're enforcers.
Yeah,
and I have no doubt that buff dude that I was talking about, his energy, you can tell.
I'm here to keep shit under wraps. Dude, that is everybody. Right there is your mosh pit etiquette. That is not. It's like mosh pit technique 101. There it is from Justin. The man knows what the fuck he's talking about, and you can you can pick up his manual at the front door of every.
Yep, that's right.
Niles, is that what they're called? Niles?
Nile. Get my ebook.
Nile,
but
his ebook.
Yeah,
dude, I'm really glad you went because then you were able to talk to us about it, dude. That makes me really jazzed for at some point being able to like talk about, or not talk, but at some point being able to go to a fucking...
The next metal show I'm going to is March 18th, and then I'm going to one on March 27th, but the one on March 27th is more like metalcore. It's like kind of progressive metal. It's a little different, but the next like real metal show I'm going to is March 18th. I'd love for you to come. That
would be fucking crazy, and we can have a revisit of the fucking metal. Fuck yeah, man. Well, thank you so much. This was our interview, and this is also going to be, you know, of course, I don't know if everyone knows. I'm sure everyone knows, but there is a sign off. Like once you hear the music start playing, like cool, like hip hoppy music playing, it after that there's a little sign off. I think people know that. I'm pretty sure. So. I hope they do. But this is essentially, you know, for the most part, the end of the show where we talked about metal a whole bunch.
Thanks for letting me talk about it, honestly, everyone in Isaiah, because I'm very passionate about it. I like it. It's a cool genre of music, and I think that people don't give it a shot.
Yeah.
But if you learn to appreciate a lot of the things that are going on, and it's almost like beer. You have your first beer, you're like, I don't know about that. Yeah. But then you learn the things that you avoided are what you start looking for. Oh, I'm looking for that sour taste. I'm looking for that bitter taste, you know? And I really encourage people to explore a new genre of music with those 3 albums that we mentioned.
Fuck yeah, I can even say them again. Berserker, after the Burial... Oh, sorry, Berserker is the album by Amon Amarth.
Right.
And then after the Burial is the album Evergreen. And Alter Beast pick up their album Feast.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for doing that, man. Again, always, you're one of the best co-hosts of the show. Man.
You're the best host of the show.
Oh, thank you. That was another episode of Road Soda. Just in and out of your life. Just coming and going, right?
It was wonderful.
Wonderful. Justin, what'd you learn?
I learned that you cannot publicly or privately mention that you have plans to commit mass genocide.
Right.
Probably just keep that to yourself.
Keep it right to yourself. Maybe your own manifesto at your house, but
Yeah.
don't let anyone read it.
Yep.
I learned that you can't just ride the school bus.
No. Yeah, you can't.
Can't just ride on the school bus. That's what I learned. I also learned that that Amon Amarth lived a Metalocalypse tale.
That's right.
In real life.
Yep.
Dude, that's so fucking funny. I can't wait to
Yeah,
you know who, I bet Brian doesn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, and
I miss Brian. I'd love to see him.
Dude, every you can see him down at Motorworks every
Saturday.
Every Saturday, Friday and Saturday. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. Of course, thank you, Justin, for joining us on that one again. Be sure to watch The Witcher for next episode. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. When you hear us again, your Christmas will have been gone. Heck, maybe you even listen to this on Christmas Day. I don't know how you spend your Christmases.
This is my Christmas gift to my kids. I'm going to let them listen to an hour of podcasting.
Right.
And then they have to go back to their cave.
Let them. You get 1 hour of podcasting, and it's road soda.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Soda. I want to meet the person that's going to choose road soda as their 1 hour.
You're looking at him.
Oh, yeah. And thank you guys so much. Again, of course, for listening to the show. We'll see you next week. Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Go to bed early, especially on Christmas Eve. Santa's not going to bring you any gifts if you're peeping. Right.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's interesting about Christmas is it's really important. The guy I worked with, Joel, is he's not practicing, but his father's like a very practicing Jewish person, like goes to the synagogue like 3 times a week and stuff,
right.
like very much into it. And I asked him a little bit about Hanukkah, and he was like, honestly, dude, like, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't really matter. And I can't pronounce it, but Rosh Hashanah?
Rosh Hashanah, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, that's the holiday.
Yeah.
And Passover. He's like, other than that, like, he's like, we just want to be off work, which is obviously a joke, but he's like, we just realized we could get extra days.
It's just because it's around the big one. It's
right.
Like, now it's, this is your big one, but the Festival of Lights is like the most known, but yeah.
Sure.
That's, and guys, speaking of Sean, you can catch Justin on Keep the Mids In.
Oh, yeah.
His own podcast.
Yeah, it's fun. We talk about music and some other random stuff, but mostly music based.
That is going to be in the show notes. It's always in the show notes. Justin, thank you so very much.
Dude, thanks for having me here, and most importantly, thank you for letting me rant about music for a half hour. That was fun.
Brother, that was good metal stuff, guys. You should check out that metal shit too. And we'll catch you next week. Merry Christmas. Don't you want to say Merry Christmas? I'm trying to get you to say it.
Oh, yeah, me? Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Oh,
but also Happy Holidays.
Right on.